Hello, welcome to the video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about FNAF concerns, basically. Um, so, there's a few things that concern me. Mostly, my perception of FNAF security breach. Now, I'm going to talk about the scariness of the overall franchise here. And this is not going to be one of my usual videos, so if you're not interested, go away. But yeah, so the franchise itself has never been, this crazy scary game, but it's never been too, unscary. I mean, to be fair, if you've played, all of the games as they've been coming out, you definitely get less and less scared. But to a new player, if you're playing, the first games, you might get scared if you're already not, toned down to jump scares. But the first game was, pretty scary. If you go look, people playing the game on YouTube or something like that, you will, when it obviously released, you'll find people who were scared about it. For instance, Markiplier, I don't know, maybe his video just hit 100 million or something like that. Anyway, yeah. And the thing is that Security Breach has not really been scary at all. And some people go, well, the daycare scene was kind of scary. I haven't played it, and I don't want to play the game because I can't be bothered to fork over that much money to play a game that is fucking bugged as shit. So I won't be playing the game at all if you're wondering. But I know I would not enjoy it anyway. It's one, the bugs, and two, it's not scary. And I like playing the games for, little bits of scariness and, having fun. And I've seen, playthroughs, and it didn't look like fun to me. I do like quite a lot of the game, but I also don't like quite a lot of the game. It's a 50-50 for me, because a lot of aspects I think are handled quite well, and then a lot of aspects aren't, for me. I don't hate the game, I don't love the game, basically, but I really hate the jump scares, and I hate how it's not scary. And there's an argument to be had that, FNAF really is kind of being, kid scary in a way, which I can understand that, but if you actually check, the thing is that the original games, right? Sure, they've not had on-screen kinda, things that would probably make it higher in terms of scariness or whatever, but they've always had a lore behind them that has been scary. And for me, FNAF Security Breach is the first one that legitimately has no scary implements in the lore. Sure, there's apparently meant to be missing children that happened again, but that's not scary anymore because it's been done 80 times. And it probably hit its peak maybe in FNAF 5, and then I think any more would have just overdone it, and for me, it's been overdone now. The missing kids, I feel like they kind of just... I mean, I can understand, obviously there's not really many other ways, but there was so many better ways. Well, okay, I kind of contradicted myself. There were so many better ways for this to be handled in terms of the scariness factors. For instance, I was expecting the game not to be quite as big in terms of, a design point. For instance, I was expecting it to be a much smaller game. And it kind of wasn't. In terms of the actual story, it's actually not that long. But in terms of the actual, mall, it's really big. And that kind of, I was expecting it to be a lot smaller, first of all. And then secondly, I was expecting there to be, actually, horror kind of scenes, where instead there's kind of weird stealth scenes, which I'm not crazy on. I like the idea of getting into Freddy, but I wouldn't call that a scary mechanic in any way. I just call it a cool mechanic, not a scary mechanic, and there's not really any scary scenes. The daycare scene really isn't that scary, from what I've seen, obviously. More so it's just kind of... It looks kind of frustrating, and I don't think I'd enjoy it. But it's probably the scariest thing in the game, which is not a good sign. I like the designs. I like quite a lot of the game, but I did not like the scariness factor. And I like if you go to things like FNAF fan games, right? You've got things like Five Nights at Candy's, right? And you've got so many different FNAF fan games. Oh shit! You've got so many different FNAF fan games that have, you know, been, or at least felt like they could be a actual FNAF game, like a mainline series game, and have retained scariness, which Security Breach fails massively. And I don't mind the game. I don't really like it, but I also don't hate it. I just I don't really care about it, to be honest. And this is no hate to Steel War or anything, because I think that for what they kind of had, I guess, as a small development team, it is quite impressive. But at the same time, I just feel like it should have been something different. It just feels like a children's game. It doesn't feel like a FNAF game. You know, I don't know, something about FNAF Security Breach gives me something wrong. And what I also fear from FNAF Security Breach is that Steel Wool, or I don't know, maybe Scott, might actually allow a crossover with Fortnite to happen, as surveys from Fortnite have leaked Monty and Glamrock Freddy, and that kind of worries me a little bit, because I do not want to see any FNAF characters, let alone the Security Breach ones, because I don't think they would look good, first of all, and secondly, even if it is the Security Breach ones, which probably have the best chance of looking decent, it would take off even further from, like, the actual horror of the game elements, even more. Which I just think, like, maybe we should, more of a focus on having scarier FNAF games than, kid horror games, basically, is what it is. I know I went on a bit of a rant here, but I hope you enjoyed. If you could, leave a like, I'd appreciate it.